In the world of vinyl decoration, the technology of the products continues to evolve and become easier and easier. You are going to see it in this tutorial because we are going to work not only on walls, but also on furniture and objects. What's new in what we are going to install today? Well, it's a product that maintains the great objectives of decorating with vinyl. That is very decorative but also very resistant. And this is now achieved by working with a super light, flexible and self-adhesive tiles. We are going to do the installation. I am going to tell you about all the aspects so that you can see what we have to take into account when working. And the first thing we always have to do for this type of installation is to prime the wall correctly. You see that it is a very liquid product. If we apply it too much, we drip a little. To prevent this from happening, we load less, wring out the roller well and always apply from the bottom up. This is how we spread it. As it is a water-based product, if we stain, it can be removed with a cloth. The time of drying that we must leave is approximately of 1 hour. We are going to install the tiles. These tiles are specific for smooth surfaces. We cannot work with them when we have walls with a lot of texture, such as stippled, etc. They have a foam on the back that absorbs small differences. It can absorb, for example, the tongue and groove of a wood surface when applied on a frieze. It can absorb small venices, but the criterion is to always use it on smooth walls. And what it has on top is a layer of vinyl or PVC that perfectly mimics the shape of wood, not only visually, but also in texture. It has the texture of wood. And the whole top is reinforced with a special coating that resists knocks and scratches. The installation is very simple, but before I do it, I have to make sure that the tiles are always perfectly horizontal on the wall. That they do not tilt when I install them. In general, if I have a starting point, as in this case, I have a baseboard, and it is perfectly horizontal. I can start from there and that's it. When I have problems, because I do not have a skirting board in conditions, or a clear horizontal line to start from, what is usually done is to draw a cross in the middle of the wall well leveled. And already, with that cross I am leaning to go putting the slats up and down. The first piece, as we don't know yet how strong the adhesive is, we are going to glue it slowly. We lift the paper, only one part. We present it and, when we check that it is in its correct position, we remove the paper and glue it completely. In this way, we will gradually calculate the strength it has when it sticks. To mark the next piece, we can do two things. The first would be the traditional one. Take the piece to its position and put the mark just where it coincides with the end of the lower plank. But, if we want to do it more precisely, we peel off a little of the paper from the corners of a new plank. We place it on top of the one that is already glued. And we use as an element to see the mark another plank that goes to the wall. In this way we are going to throw a line just in the hole position of the cut. We cut and we can take the piece to the wall. To place it, the side that we have cut is the one that we take to the wall and we use the clean side, without cutting, to make the meeting of the heads of the two planks. To place it, we always make sure that the two ends of the planks perfectly face each other and are pressed together. In the second row, we are going to start from the right. We are going to do the placement as in the row below, but putting the large plank on the right and a cut piece on the left. And in the third one, we are going to take advantage of the cut that we have left over from the previous one because we are not going to follow any pattern. We are going to make the joints a little bit randomly and, in addition, we are going to play with putting some planks a little darker through the lighter installation to give us a little more grace to the whole installation. The planks, as you can see, are not only flexible, but they are also a bit moldable. We can place them by hand, but if at some point when placing them you have a little light as there is here, do not worry because then I will explain how to correct this after placing it. If you are gluing on ceramic on tiles, it is not necessary to fill the joints first because this product absorbs perfectly that separation. We have decorated with planks of 2 different shades, but, apart from that, the planks that come in the boxes are not identical, they are not equal to each other. In this way, as there are different models, the wall is not uniform. We arrive at this point where we have the encounter with the door. In this case, what we are going to do is to maintain the natural line that we follow, and we will box the space of the door. So we put this plank in a position that supports us well on the plank below, and we mark the meeting point to make the box. To place this plank cut in flag, look carefully, we support it on the pieces that we carry on the right. We do not rest it directly on the door. There will be some slack where it meets the door, but don't worry because I'll explain later how to cover this gap. We are going to make a stop here because this is the moment to talk about staking. We, on this side of the wall, have started from the skirting board and worked our way up. We are going around the door. Now, with this other wall, however, we are not going to follow the same procedure. We are not going to start from the baseboard because we are going to be much safer if we take the reference from the skirting board because we're going to be much safer if we take as a reference this line that's going to be common to both parts of the wall. So that's going to be our new reference. We're going to finish placing this piece in flag, because we can already lean it against the top line, we continue the line, and then from there down. We're going to do it the other way around because what we always have to do is keep the reference of horizontality and the same line on both sides. To cut this flag, we take as a reference the support on the plank above and the support on the plank on the side. The side plank. Now we can mark. This would be the cutout we need. And now we complete this line and go down. And if nothing unusual has happened and the house is not crooked, it is normal that, when we reach the last plank, it will also coincide just above the skirting board. In the lines of the joints, to leave them with professional quality, we can use a marker like this one. It has a color very close to the pieces we are placing. We pass it over the joint, run a little finger over it, and that's it. In the case of the joints, it is not necessary to use a joint sealant because we can use putties directly. There are putties of different colors. We, for example, are going to mix 2 colors, this gray and this brown, to give us a tone closer to that of our planks. And with this we can make the fillers of all the joints to match the cuts of the pieces in this way. What we have just done was the type of decoration that we could call traditional, using a siding to cover a wall. Since this is a siding that is practically weightless and not too thick, it also allows us to play with other possibilities. Like what we are going to do now, which is to line the door as well. On the door we are playing with a change in the shades of the plank. We have chosen an oak tone to differentiate it from the wall. And also to differentiate and highlight the door, we have changed the orientation of the planks. We are going to place them all vertically. We continue placing them with the same criterion of avoiding the joints to coincide. We need to trim the width of the last plank. So we lay it out, take the reference marks on the edge of the door and take it to us to cut. Now we can start cutting. At this point we come to a technical aspect that we have to solve, and I would like to take this opportunity to tell you about another possible problem. We have decided to leave the molding uncoated. Can it be coated? Yes, of course. We can cut thinner planks and cover the molding. But keep in mind that, in those doors that have very little distance between the leaf and the molding, if we leave the planks very glued together, when we open the door and make the joint, they can rub and peel off. In that case, if they are too close together, I recommend that you do not put them. Do as we do and leave the molding clean. And, if not, you can cover it without difficulty. We have to save the handle. The handle has inside it the connection with the square that goes from one handle to another to turn the opening mechanism. So what we will do is to take the reference marks of where it is placed in order to make a hole in the piece that we are going to glue. In that way, with that hole, we can reassemble the handle and the door will continue to function normally. Well, this is the result of a door, but now I am going to show you some furniture restorations that are really amazing with this type of decoration. First, I am going to present to you a shoe rack. It's a white shoe rack on a white wall. Particularly fun, as you can see. So we're going to restore this shoe rack and give it some appeal. We've cut these planks to size. You've seen how that's done. Another option for our shoe rack is to use this type of tile, larger and with this industrial look, which will also be available. They are available in colors and, as you can see, they are different formats, larger formats. And this is the final result of the different plank applications. We have done it with 3 models, but it is possible that, when you watch this video later, there will be more models. To stay up to date, we leave you below the link to Trenddeco's catalog. This type of lining is also a perfect solution for old closets. An old closet, in poor condition, dirty or defaced, in this case, by children who have discovered permanent markers, has a second life and a second very nice possibility of decoration with this type of coatings. You see that the solution we have given is to combine on the one hand wood and, on the other hand, this type of tile, which is a more stony tile, with oxides. Basically because, not only do we play with the materials but also with the sensations, a colder sensation and a warmer sensation. These combinations allow you, with this type of coverings, to make all kinds of combinations and adapt them to any decorative style you want to work with. Well, one thing I haven't told you but I'm sure you've imagined it is that, being such a flexible material, we can work on objects or curved walls without any difficulty. We can work without any difficulty on objects or curved walls. So by simply gluing it, as the adhesive is so strong, it is perfectly fixed and there is no need to make any effort. It remains for me to tell you, also important, that this is a material to work walls, ceilings, furniture, as you have seen, objects. But always indoors. It is designed for homes, for offices, but indoors. And, well, what we have tried to do is a little bit of an overview of possible combinations. You can see that here the only thing you need is creativity because, from the point of view of installation technique, the matter is frankly simple. All you have to do is cut with the cutter and place it as you like.